Hi, I'm Hillary with Wise Hearts Connect, and today we are going through the different meridian systems which connect with the different internal organs. And today we're looking at the 11th meridian, which in my system of acupuncture 5-element style, it is the stomach meridian. And the stomach is a really fascinating organ. So if you will, it sits actually kind of in the center of us, and its responsibility on a physical level, of course, is to take in information and physical foods. But also there's this idea in Chinese medicine that the stomach is responsible for processing anything that we ingest. So that could be a movie that we watch, it could be a conversation that we have, it could be a book that we're reading, information from a class we're taking. Essentially anything that we ingest needs to be processed and digested. And so a huge component of the stomach is to churn through, right? To process, to ingest. One teacher was talking about how when you take a meal in, first you ingest it with the eyes. Like, is this appetizing? Does this look beautiful? How much are we ingesting from just the presentation of a meal? And the suggestion actually too is to when we're eating, when we're ingesting something, to only do the ingesting. So for example, when one is eating, don't eat and read the paper. You can, of course, have a conversation with the people that you're having a meal with, but doing too many things while eating can actually cause disruption in the process of how to digest, how the stomach works. And so the suggestion is to, when you eat, just eat. And it probably helps with not eating too much or too little. It's like the right amount because you're getting all of that feedback. How does the stomach feel? Is it too full, or could you use a little bit more to feel satiated? And this notion of satiation and contentment actually is very much emotionally associated with the stomach meridian and the stomach organ itself. One other aspect of the stomach that is interesting is, of course, each of the different meridian systems have a direction that they move up or down. And in the stomach's case, of course, it's moving down. And when it comes up, there could be belching, or in extreme cases, vomiting is an indicator that the stomach is not happy or healthy. The meridian of the stomach starts actually under the eye. So again, ingest first with the eye. It starts here, and then it moves down, goes through the mouth area internally, and then it goes down the neck and down actually through the breast. So our first source of nourishment is through the breast, optimally or commonly, right, through breast milk. And then it goes down the abdomen, out the outer thigh, and then down into the second toe is the pathway. And one way to support the stomach meridian, I noticed that the shin can be very tight. And so one way to nourish the meridian and nourish the stomach is to massage the shin close to the bone, the connection there, that the meridian kind of hugs the bone down to the second toe. But the shin is a beautiful one. There's lots of stomach meridian points on the shin to massage, to nurture and support the stomach meridian. Another acupuncture point, the stomach starting in the head, but it goes up through the sides of the head also. And there's a beautiful point. So in the prospect of digesting and processing information, sometimes obsessive thoughts, when you have repetitive thoughts like I could have done it this way or I should have done it that way, and we get into this like spin cycle in our thought process about something that happened or that we wish we had done differently, or just a worry perhaps, or whatever, it becomes this like spin cycle machine. And there's a beautiful acupuncture point here on the head that you can oftentimes feel like a little divot just in the scalp here where your hair comes in. That particular point is called head tide. And for people who have circulating thoughts, obsessive thoughts, it's a really great way to, the way I describe it for patients when I use the point is to stop the spin cycle, to just help the mind to quit spinning and processing and going over things so that it can be digested and move through and let go of. Send what's useful to the large intestine and uptake and integrate what is actually useful. So the stomach meridian is essential. And in the old 5-element chart, it actually sits in the center of everything because it's the center of us. It's very much associated with the earth element and nurturing and nourishment and thinking clearly. And the stomach is essential. Probiotics can be helpful as another tool to help us with digestion, in some cases digestive enzymes, fresh fruits and vegetables. Any real food, of course, is going to be usually digested better, but also it's worth inquiring with yourself. How do you digest? What digests well in you? And listening to your body, because there's certain things that it's actually wise not to digest, or that we might need some time to digest. I've observed this in myself when I watch, oh gosh, I got sucked into the television show called Yellowstone, and I'd watch it before bed, and then I'd have this lots of drama and a lot of information, sometimes hard to digest information to process. And on some level, right, I enjoyed the drama, but it was a lot to ingest and it was a lot to process and a lot to make sense of. And in some cases, I didn't want to make sense of some of the behaviors or dynamics that went on in that particular show. So being conscious about what we ingest and being prepared to digest what we decide to ingest. Sometimes taking a social media holiday can be a good thing to do. And so how is your digestion? Have you ever had your head spinning in circles? Have you had the experience of having a meal and feeling completely content and satiated? How is your digestion?